The Foreign Office, as it was so interesting to hear from Andrew Mitchell on the programme earlier, talking about how they're not going to be telling people not to go to Rhodes because 90% of it is open. Airlines are behaving really interestingly, but so too are their passengers. So let me tell you what's been happening with Thomas Cook holidays. Now, that's a tiny shadow of the former Thomas Cook, which went bust in 2019. But they are saying that most of their holidaymakers who were due to go to Rhodes yesterday flew out, and the same applies today. We have EasyJet and British Airways flying out of Gatwick to Rhodes. On top of that, there will be flights going out empty. They're being sent out by Jet2 and by TUI, as well as EasyJet sending a couple of repatriation flights out from from Gatwick to bring people back, about 400 people coming back on those. But the attitude seems to be, and this is certainly the case from Ryanair, business as usual.
And it's interesting, Simon, that Andrew Mitchell said he wouldn't personally go to Rhodes, but people are doing. You're saying people are doing. Would you go, Simon? What would you recommend to people? Would you say still go on holiday there?
Right. Okay. So there's an awful lot of people who are getting in touch with me, Stig, who are saying, well, anything from I'm due to go there tomorrow, help, what do I do? Yeah. And actually, most of the holiday companies, most of the airlines are putting in concessions which will allow you to change if you need to. Certainly, Jet2 and TUI are cancelling their entire holiday program over the next few days. But to answer your question, I wouldn't go there. Not because I don't love Rhodes and I think I could have a perfectly great experience in on the island, in particularly around Rhodes town, beautiful city, but actually because I wouldn't want to add to the problem of the people scrabbling over a limited number of seats to get out. Some people actually sailing to Kos and over to the Turkish airport in order to get out. And I think it would be irresponsible to add to that. But clearly, a number of people are just saying, yeah, we've booked this holiday. We're looking forward to it. We've had a look at the map. It's not going to affect us. We're off. And
if you did decide to go for reasons of ethics rather than because you're compelled not to go, and that's why the Foreign Office isn't saying don't go, because they're not, everyone will cancel their holidays. Can you delay your holiday? What would you do if you just made that decision? Can you cancel? Can you go somewhere else? How does it work?
Okay, it's a really tricky one. It all depends on the whether you booked a package holiday for a start. If you booked a proper package, flights and accommodation, well, over the next few days, those won't be happening. Or if you're with an operator like EasyJet Holidays, which is going ahead, you can decide whether or not you want to go. But for anything from kind of start of August onwards, all bets are off. It will take a few days, obviously, to try to get the wildfires under control, to find out what is happening in terms of the situation on the ground in those resorts which have been particularly badly affected. And only then will the holiday companies decide how the rest of the summer is looking. So I'm afraid, although it's an extremely anxious time for people going to Rhodes, and indeed now, as you've been reporting, possibly to Corfu as well, you must assume that your trip will be going ahead as booked, unless you hear anything to the contrary from your travel company. But I bet the travel agents of Britain will be busy when they open up in an hour or so's time with people perhaps wishing to discuss their arrangements for the summer.